My name is Sam Eunice. I was one of the promoters back in the day at the Airport Music Hall in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It started with an old caddy playground gig. A couple of friends of mine dragged me out there, and of all bands playing with Suicidal Tendencies. First national tour, maybe about 50 people there.
About what year?
I'd say about 83 or 84.
Okay.
84 maybe, you know?
Okay.
But Catasauqua is really like, they're the grandfathers of punk rock around here. If you talk about punk rock around here, you cannot bring up Catasauqua, you know? It's the punk rock capital of the Lehigh Valley.
Sweet.
Well, 83, 84, I was about 18, 19 years old. So the Airport Music Hall still hadn't arrived. It was still a year or two away from getting the wheels going. And going to other places, specifically Catasauqua. That's, 999 used to play at the Caddy Shack. They used to bring all kinds of touring acts like the Pork Dukes to that venue. I would say about 86, 87 when we really started getting into promoting a lot more. Prior to that, we were doing some shows. I booked the Circle Jerks, Exploited, Leeway, Bad Brains. We were the first ones around here to bring Biohazard, Sick of It All, Killing Time. The list goes on and on, what is it? Vision, band named Vision, Burn, Gorilla Biscuits, all kinds of bands, And we were good at paying our bands. It may not have been, huge amounts, but we always paid our bands something. And we came up with themes, like the back to school hardcore blowout, The kids, always the week of school, the week, they go back that weekend. We do it every year on that weekend. 500-600 kids would show up. We put a couple bands on the show, 1-2 locals, and then we bring somebody from Boston. We bring somebody from South Jersey. We would bring somebody from Brooklyn. We would bring somebody from, and turn it into an event, So. Well, we started doing other things, we started just doing like hard rock acts, and it was just a natural progression to look for talent, because going to like the New Music Seminar and the CMJ Music Marathon in New York, we were exposed, I was exposed to a lot of different things, Metallica, we saw Metallica in '83 was the first time I ever saw Metallica. We were just fresh out of high school, 6 months. Aquarian Weekly, I don't know if you're familiar with the Aquarian Weekly.
Okay, yeah.
Aquarian Weekly was our lifeline to North Jersey and New York City. So of all bands, Metallica opened for Twisted Sister at the Fountain Casino, December 30th, 1983. We were on Metallica because we heard about it through Crank, Crank magazine, so put one and one together, we took a ride down there, and that was it, really. Okay, back to that. It was a natural progression. It was looking for artists within the hard rock, heavy metal genre that we could expand on making money, I'm not gonna lie to you. We did it to make money, because if anybody told you any differently, they were lying to you. And the shows back then, I could throw out examples of some of the other promoters that lost their asses on shows, because there really wasn't no atmosphere in this club. It was a converted Acme supermarket. It was open, it was huge. And some of the older demographic didn't come out all the time. But you put on these heavy metal shows and these punk rock shows, and kids come by the carloads. There was a couple bands, nothing really like significant, you know, but it was more of a regional band influx, you know, because by that time, you had bands emerging from the scene all over, you know. We bring in Murphy's Law as a headliner. We bring in Mucky Pup as a slalom right underneath Murphy's Law. Put a couple local acts. We have 500-600 bands here, 500-600 people here, you know. So, well, croc rock is a issue unto itself, you know. But the whole skinhead thing was for real, you know. Me as a promoter, I'm a fan of the music, but I was not a part of that whole lifestyle back then, you know. So, in the context of trying to make money, you know, we got pulled into a really bigger and ugly situation, you know. You know, you put bands on like Sacred Reich and Sepultura with Biohazard and Sick of It All and Napalm Death, you know, the audiences back then weren't exactly best buddies, you know. So you had a clash of the heavy metal world coming into the punk rock world, and it was some of the shows were incredible. But some of the shows, we had a lot of issues with the skinheads.
Did they ever talk to you? Were they trying to be friendly with you? Were they bullied? Did they try bullying you? Like, what was your relationship like with them?
I was on speaking terms with them. You know, they didn't have a problem with me. You know, they only had a problem when I had to kick them out. You know.
Yeah.
You know, but they understood that that was, you know, you break any of the fixtures, you start, you know, you hit somebody. You do things that aren't in the context of a non-violent nature, then, you know.
Yeah.
We ran into that at one point. What year was that? I think it was 1990. It came to a head. That show that I mentioned to you, and that's when it kind of like just spiraled out of control there. And a couple of years later, I was to learn about the whole Freeman brothers and their cousin, you know. For anybody that doesn't know about that, these guys, unknown to us, they were psycho. I remember a friend of mine bringing it up. We go, "Hey, you read the paper?" I'm like, "No, what are you talking about?" You know, man, that fucking dude with the berserker tattooed on his forehead. Like, berserker tattooed. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "That's the dude that used to come to the music hall." I'm like, "What?" Ran, got a newspaper. There I am looking at the two brothers and the cousin. And, you know, they killed their mom and dad. They killed their whole family. And unknown to any of us, that stuff was fomenting at the airport music hall. There, you know, that one story I told you over the phone about the one guy, we couldn't figure out why they were beating him up. He was always their buddy, always there, come with the clique, and out of nowhere, they just start beating the guy up, and finally we got a straight answer out of him. I'm like, "Hey bro, what's the deal?" You wouldn't tell us at first. We finally figured it out. You know, the guy's got a big lump on his head. He's bleeding out of his nose, all that stuff. He was dating a black girl. And being a skinhead, they said that's a no-no. So that will show you the mentality of these people and where they were at. You know, they would turn on you in a heartbeat, you know.
Yeah.
And we had issues where we had kids breaking sinks and bathroom fixtures. They'd pay for them. We'd let them back in. And 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month and a half later, they'd do the same thing. So it was a never-ending cycle of, please let us back in. We won't do it no more. And, you know, we were nice. We were young. We were not far off in age from what them guys were, you know. 1987, I was 22 years old, you know. So I thought a little too much like them and trying to cut people breaks and it don't work that way.